for example, I mean, okay, fine, Pakistan has come up or is seen now as a country which can actually become a source of security, and you know, that's been formalized by the Saudi Pact, right? And the Saudi Pact actually played a role in this whole conflict, because it was the fear of that pact being triggered, which was a key motivation to get to a ceasefire, one of the motivations. Now, the other Gulf countries are also watching this. They've seen that the biggest country in the region has the pact with Pakistan, and that pact, you know, a few months after signing, became a factor. Is that something that you think could, in a way, convince the other countries to look at Pakistan the way that Saudi Arabia is looking at Pakistan?
Indeed, I think, as I said, that given the fact that the Gulf countries have outsourced their defense, and during this conflict, certainly their defenses have been exposed. And as we don't know what will happen next, even if there is an agreement between Iran and the US, how Iran would react and how Gulf countries would react. So in that scenario, not just necessarily for security purposes or defense purposes, even as earlier here it was mentioned that on one hand Pakistan is acting as a bridge between Iran and the US, and it is also acting as a bridge between Iran and the other Gulf countries. And the clear example, of course, following the ceasefire, establishing a contact between the Iranian and the Saudis. Because what I know, apart from other Gulf countries, because they were furious, and they are furious, that Iran retaliated, targeting them, and their sense of security and safety has been done and dusted, and it may take many years to recover from this. Saudis, on the other hand, I am told, has adopted a more pragmatic approach. Probably they are willing even to work with the Iranian government post-war. So
that's what you're saying.
So in that context, I think Pakistan is playing a role because it suits Pakistan. Because if there is one of the major motivations of Pakistan getting involved, embroiled in this diplomatic effort, because Pakistan understood that if this conflict dragged on and Iran and then the Gulf countries also decided to retaliate, then it would have become a real different ball game for Pakistan.
I have to take a break. I'll come back to it because I think this is getting very interesting, and I will come back and I will try and disagree with what you're saying, and let's see where we can where we can go from there. We'll take a short break. Our panelists are here. Discussion is warming up. I hope the negotiations are also warming up and are also producing this kind of a enthusiastic and interactive discussion. We will see you shortly after this break.
Thank you, Mr. Fahad, for these deep analysis. Pakistan moved to the center of global diplomacy. Islamabad is ready to host US-Iran peace talks for the latest. We are joined by our reporter, Mr. Khalid Mahmood. Yes, Mr. Khalid.
Yes, we are here with the latest update. A short while ago, the American delegation arrived in Islamabad, while the Iranian delegation reached Islamabad last night. This is a significant historical moment for Pakistan as it hosts talks between Iran and the United States. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif will host these negotiations, and delegations from both countries will participate. Pakistan plays a key role, a vital role in this entire process, as Pakistan has brought these countries to the same table and has also secured a ceasefire. There is a 15-day truce, and along with that, Pakistan has initiated the next phase of negotiations. Joining me is Bureau Chief of Express News, Amir Ilyas Rana. Let's ask him about the situation. Yes, Amir Sahab, tell us, what kind of atmosphere are you seeing today?
Khalid, it is quite simple. God has brought the day that the world's eyes have been on us for several days, and now in a short while across the table, the Americans and Iranians will sit together. And obviously, we have arranged these negotiations. Ambassadors from our allied nations are present. Key figures are here too, and everyone is watching closely to ensure that world peace is achieved by any means. For President Trump, this is also a position where he gains something to tell his people, and for Iran, it will be this. Based on my information, this is what will happen. God willing, when this accord is reached, both nations will benefit with their audiences.
Amir Sahab, look, one thing is becoming clear. The negotiations will now be on a much larger scale, because yesterday we saw the Iranian delegation, and their delegation consisted of 70 people. It seems their scope has expanded, and discussions will take place on a large scale. Now, we are also looking at the next stage. There is a journalistic sense that these negotiations will be successful and there will be a breakthrough. And there is a strong possibility that under Pakistan's hosting, these talks will succeed. Regarding this, Amir Sahab, please tell us what you think.
I will give you an example. When negotiations between Pakistan and America started on energy, water and agriculture, we had to form 5 or 6 committees just for Pakistan and America. Here, 10 to 12 countries are involved because on the surface, these are negotiations between America and Tehran, Washington and Tehran, but the entire Gulf is involved, Europe is involved, so the extra people who have come will form committees and various countries will be included in them. Only then will this work. It is not like they will just sign and leave. No, you have to carry forward the future accord, how you will work. All those nitty-gritties are being settled beforehand and more committees will be formed.
Amir Sahab, look, an energy crisis has hit this entire region. Petroleum prices have soared in Pakistan and across the globe. Now Europe, Asia and the Middle East are all watching. If the Strait of Hormuz opens, trade activities will resume and countries currently in crisis will be able to recover. How do you view Pakistan's situation? We have also faced this energy and petroleum crisis with rising prices. How do you see things unfolding if these negotiations are successful and move forward? How do you view it?
You did well to mention the Strait of Hormuz, Khalid. As we said, this affects many nations. The world relies on it. Whether Africa, China or Australia, oil passes through these routes. Food supplies also pass through, and right now everything is stuck. These are the factors that will lead to success. It is not for nothing that everyone is calling us. New Zealand is writing to us, and we are getting calls and letters from Australia. The entire European community is writing collectively, and we are getting individual calls too. They all want this. Last night, the British Prime Minister called.
Many things are now coming to light. In a short while, these negotiations will officially begin. Pakistan is making every effort to ensure that these negotiations are successful. Even today, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar have been receiving a constant stream of calls since last night. The overall sentiment from these delegations is that the talks will be a success. As soon as the negotiations get underway, we will be back with more updates.